I'm getting ready to.
Jimmy,
What's up, man?
so why are you the man for this? Why do you think that you could do this? Why not somebody else?
If not me, who else is gonna do it, man? There's only one Jimmy Dragon.
What do you bring to the table? Like, what's your experience that makes you feel like, being able to do a show and host a show and, just talk about what what makes you feel like you could do this?
Well, it's not that I could. I really think that I could do it. I think it's still a challenge, being in front of cameras. But that's what it's all about, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations for personal growth. So this is also a personal journey of mine as well.
What's been the hardest thing so far, other than just being in front of the camera?
The hardest thing is probably coming up with materials that people really want to watch, which
Right.
is why I want to encourage people to really put in their 2 cents in here.
Yeah, probably the hardest thing, when you're doing videos about your business is you want to talk about your business and you want to tell people what you did, what you know. What do you think though that is from your experience as a business owner now that can translate into being engaging, that people will be drawn to what you're doing and building here with Vein Masters?
Well, yeah, this is not about me. This is about the community as a whole. We want to be better at what we're doing. Vein is not something that is taught in schools, at least in ultrasound schools. And as far as a lot of practitioners, they're going by what the vendors are telling them is the proper way. So I think this is a good forum for a lot of people who's been doing this for a while to really share so we could all grow from this. Like I said, this is not a one person thing.
And what really gave you, I know we've talked a lot and you've talked about wanting to do this for a while, but what initially really gave you the itch to do something like this, other than caring about the industry? I mean, was it that you just didn't want to grow your business, you wanted to reach more people, or is it because you see the opportunity there?
Well, I mean, I see the opportunity for excellence. Like I say, I'm a man of vision. And we've started a lot of vein practices, but you can't really impose your vision on other people. So I have an idea of what I feel is, a vein practice should have as standard, and I wanted to do it myself. Which is something that I believe the community really needs, the vein community really needs, which is people who really has a passion for the field and want to share it with the world, with patients, with their community.
What do you think is missing in the industry right now? What do you hear from patients that they want to hear?
I think the patients really want more personalized care. Too many things is paper pushing, robotic, lack of that intimacy, and I think patients really crave that. So if a provider is really taking the time to be intimate with the patient and hearing what's wrong with them and actually caring as to what they have to say, it really makes a difference in the overall care of the patient.
Is that something that you'd say that it's always been a passion of yours, or you kind of had to learn along the way?
Oh, absolutely. This is something that you have to learn, but ultimately it should become a passion, because if you are in healthcare, your passion should be patient care. So anything that's going to help you become better at it is what you should aim for, what you should strive for.
And what is it about veins and vascular that really, heightened your interest, intrigued you to really jumpstart your career here?
Well, being able to find out what's wrong with someone when they come to your door and being a part of making it better and seeing the post result of that and the joy in a person's heart, man, it's all worth it, which is why I went in it. Because, in ultrasound, you're always diagnosing, you're always finding out what's wrong with patients, and then they leave, and you don't really follow through with the interactions between the patient and the doctor from your findings. But in this field, you are participating in the overall care of the patient. So that alone brings its rewards.
What's one thing that a lot of people in general don't know about, the vascular system, as far as maybe personal care or maybe a warning sign or something that something might be more severely wrong, that you could give just a word of advice to a patient or a person?
Yeah, I mean, if you have issues with your legs, don't leave it to chance or think it's going to get better, especially if it's been going on for a while.
When you say issues with legs, what do you mean?
Issues with legs like swelling, pain, some noticeably large veins that you're worried about, some discolorations, If you have history of blood clots or you're afraid you might have some blood clots, that should be taken care of, and you shouldn't just leave it to chance. You should really take care of it.
For people just getting started or physicians just getting started in the industry, what's one word of advice you'd give them?
Diligence, education, and really being a part of the overall care. The ultrasound tech, be mindful of the techs that they have doing their screening, be very involved in the clinical aspect, and that should suffice, because showing that you care is all that matters at the end of the day,
Right.
to your staff and to patients, actually.
I see you got in the shade there. I think that's my cue. that you're getting a
Yeah,
little
I
warm.
think so, man.
One last thing though,
Uh-huh.
what should, other physicians, other companies, brands, businesses, people that are relevant to what you do, why should they reach out to you? Why Jimmy Dragon? Why somebody from Surprise, Arizona? What's your vision with all this?
Well, first and foremost, I'm an educator. I love to teach. If you want to learn how to do things properly, I'm probably a good first step to getting there. And, if someone really wants to tighten up their vein practice or like to start it from the ground, I think you should reach out to an expert. And I'm available.